I'd like to welcome everybody to tonight's board meeting for the Mesa Union School District. And I'd like to open this board meeting I've got 6:02. Let's go ahead and take a roll call. And myself am here. Ms. Hutt
Present.
and Ms. Romero.
Present.
Dr. Canby will be here. Ms. Dryden.
Present.
And Dr. Ramirez.
Present.
And Ms. Peterson. And Ms. Torres. Okay. And we have word that Dr. Canby will be here, but only present during the closed session items. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Okay. With that, are there any, we need a adoption of the agenda. There, kind of get a motion.
I so move.
In a second,
I'll second the motion.
we'll adopt the agenda as it's been presented. Any discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting the agenda as presented, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. That motion carries 401 in favor. Are there any public comment cards for closed session items? There are none. Hearing that, then we'll go ahead and adjourn to our closed session, where we'll discuss existing litigation, potential litigation, and negotiations as per the government code. And we'll return in approximately 30 minutes. Is that correct? Yeah. All right. Return from closed session at 7:35, 7:36. Apologize, it took longer than what we had anticipated, but we discussed negotiations and potential litigation and existing litigation per the Ed Code and Government Code, and no action was taken. At this point in time, we'd like to I think we do the official opening now, which is Pledge of Allegiance. Oh, official opening, Pledge of Allegiance. So, do we have a flag? It's over here. If everybody would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance, please stand. Right hand over heart. Ready? Begin. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Okay. Okay, next is the minutes. Do I have a motion for the adoption of the minutes?
I so move.
Is there a second?
I'll second the motion.
It's been moved and seconded. Is there any discussion regarding the minutes? Hearing none. All those in favor of adopting the minutes from the September 16th meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, say nay. That motion carries 401 in favor. Before we go on, I should probably note that we were anticipating Dr. Canby showing up, and he did not during our closed session. So the attendance will show him as being absent this meeting. Okay. Is there any speaker cards for the audience to address the board? There are none. With that, we'll turn the time over to Dr. Ramirez for the superintendent's report.
Thank you so much, Board President and Board Trustees. I'm going to keep, I brought over a few things just as updates, but I want to start my presentation with a few events. One that did not make this particular presentation is our carnival from last Friday, but I hope to bring some pictures, but I do want to say wonderful event, great turnout. Thank you to the trustees who were here, who had a hand in organizing and in supporting from your parent perspective or community perspective. Much appreciated. Uh, and so looking forward to sharing some pictures and some further thoughts at November's meeting, but that happened just last Friday and it was a great event. Going back a bit, we did have our Career Expo on the 25th of September. Seems like a lifetime ago, but beautiful event. It's the second time that we've hosted it. And I just couldn't be more impressed. I think we continue to just really come together to really clarify and make concrete what we mean by college and career for our students. And specifically, it was a combination of our school counselor, Miss Inda, at the head of it with our after school program. And so our students and our staff in the after school program, including Ms. Okamp, really came together to do their own exploration and work day to day in the lead up to the Career Expo. But then the day of, just a wonderful turnout. So many parents sharing their life journey, their professional journey. It was great to see the kids see their parents in a slightly different role, and great to hear, those stories. Kids were captivated by what they were hearing. Every presenter knew their audience because they brought just things to captivate their attention, but at the same time share great information. And our takeaway was that it was a wonderful event that just provides exposure, an opportunity for kids to see some careers, professionals, and pathways that maybe reinforce what they're thinking or give them a sense of something different. So thank you to all of our parents, family, and community volunteers. We actually had several community volunteers that were just friends of Mesa, if you will, that provided, again, just a wonderful opportunity to hear about what's going on in the community and a really wide variety of careers represented. So it was just a really great opportunity. So thank you to everybody for putting that together, to our staff, to our volunteers. Mrs. Dryden was there. So thank you for that. And just a wonderful opportunity to bring kids together. Next, we had a reading picnic. And I'll start with that little picture, that little tile on the top left corner. That is, to this day, a mystery to the kids. Nobody knows, and it's completely unknown to everybody, who our Mesa Tiger, the true identity of our Mesa Tiger. So I do want to say that was unveiled at the reading picnic. It was courtesy of Mrs. Shanae and the ASB, dating back to last year. And at this point, many theories abound about the identity of our Mesa Tiger, but and many requests made after the fact. Sporting events, all sorts of things that kids want the Mesa Tiger to attend, but here we are. So it was a really wonderful event. The first of its kind in my time here, but it was just an opportunity to come together, celebrate reading. You had older kids, our older middle school students reading to the younger kids, oftentimes their siblings, and an opportunity to just enjoy reading. And we've been doing a lot around this, and I really want to extend my gratitude to Mrs. Fisher, who is serving as our reading coordinator. Phenomenal. She goes above and beyond. And I'm very thankful for her leadership on this, and thankful for everybody for being open to participating. It was the first day of our extended kindergarten TK day. And so it was a nice way of ending that first day together. I know there's some questions about parents and families and such. There will be a time for that, but this time we just wanted to come together and just be. So thank you to everybody. Wonderful event. Oh, one last thing. There were some prizes that were won because there were some poster contests overall. There were reading posters that were done by grade level and an overall winner. And I'll send those poster contest winners to the board. But we were able to celebrate. I didn't add those pictures here, but Miss Antonella Garcia was the winner, overall winner, but we had so many contestants. I think we had well over 50 kids across the board enter submissions, all great, wonderful, all ages represented. And it was a beautiful thing to see. But Antonella is a gifted artist, tons of gifted artists, but I think she's just a phenomenal artist in her own right, and she was our overall winner. So congratulations to her. Next, just some updates on topics that we touched on or I touched on last month. Specifically our college and career readiness. Again, our career expo was one of those events. Our next event is actually coming up here, not this Friday, but the Friday following. We have a campus visit to CSUCI planned for all of our 8th grade students. That'll be happening during the school day. Kids are mixed on that because it is Halloween, but since I get to make some decisions, they got outvoted. So the point is that CSUCI it is. They'll have a wonderful time. We've already had Miss McKenna and Miss Inda will be staff chaperones, but we've already had at least, to my knowledge, 8 to 10 parents who are interested in being a part of that day. Again, going back to just supporting, the exposure to higher education, and in this instance, specifically a conversation around the different university systems, and A through G is going to be the focal point of that conversation. So we've done this before, but I'm looking forward to seeing a new cohort make its way to what I believe is a wonderful local option for our kids that want to stay home and just carry on their education post high school here in the community. As you see there, acceptance criteria, financial aid, and such, but also that A through G, those A through G requirements. Next item is, I mentioned last month, and it'll be part of a future conversation around our CASP efforts, our efforts to improve and build upon our successes in our standardized testing. But we really have tried to make it a very succinct initiative of that we've titled Success by the Numbers. And you see them delineated there. I'll have more to say about attendance in a minute. But this is really about establishing school to family partnerships and defining what those partnerships really ought to be in 2025 and beyond. And I'm still trying to figure out all the metrics to try to see what our forward movement is on this front. But when it comes to reading, I cited library books, and I think that's an important measure for us, just circulation of library books. So I asked Mrs. Casey Lutz in the library to provide me some data. So in September 2024, we had, this is just circulation, okay? It's not necessarily books read, but it's an indicator. We had 1,395 books checked out in September of 2024. In September of 2025, that number grew to 1,837. So I intend on continuing to track these numbers throughout the year, and it's not because it's a one-for-one measure, but it's just a good metric to be able to see. And not that our school library is the only place where kids can gather books. We know this is not the case, but it is an important place for us. And we spent a lot of time improving upon our collection, and especially with high interest reads that the kids are really going to take up. And so I really want to thank our partnership with VCOE and Mrs. Ashley Nashia, who is a librarian, but also Mrs. Lutz, but collectively, the work of our students and staff to promote reading and try to really set a more firm bar about what we mean with literacy and reading efforts. Next, facilities. I want to spend a little bit of time on this because it is something that the board will have an opportunity to support, ideally in the next couple of items. But we are exploring an on-site water treatment and delivery system. The intent is to be able to create a closed system where we use our existing well and our well extraction to be able to create that on-site system. We have a complete design, and there are some bidding documents that are in development. It is exploratory, but I think it's something that could be very beneficial to us. And we do have a contractor job walk scheduled for this Friday at 9:30 a.m., I believe. But it will be this Friday morning. So the next couple of slides are just visuals to understand what the system entails. Can you go back one slide, please? You see here an aerial map of on the bottom left quadrant is the existing tank and existing infrastructure. And you see the line that basically runs along the property line, fence line, to the main line that is out in the forward-facing part of the parking lot. Next slide, please. Here you see some graphics that represent what those tie-ins look like. On the left is the water tank tie-in. We want to complete a dedicated and separate line that is not commingled with with landscaping and our fire suppression system. So this would be an opportunity to tie in directly to the same water reservoir, but do it for a completely different function. And in the next slide over, it was just a mock-up of the domestic pump station. So that line would feed that pump station. There would be an additional water reservoir with sitting water in a tank, a smaller tank, just for the board's background. That tank is 77,000 gallons. This tank, by comparison, would be closer to 1,000 gallons. And it's intended to be that treatment space and system that then gets pressurized and sent along for domestic purposes. So I think it's a wonderful opportunity for us, and it is a wonderful way to see if we can be self-contained.
Excuse me, what would be the location of that 1,000?
That would be in the
In the
adjacent
same-
to the water tank in the same enclosure. Correct. And we do have the square footage there to be able to make that viable. Great question. Next slide, please. So attendance, you heard earlier, our goal is to establish a 97% attendance mark for the year. 7 absences or less is what we're promoting. And thus far, our families have supported that. So granted, August is a short month, but September isn't, and we were well over 97%. So we're off to a good start. We want to keep it that way. We want to continue to promote the fact that participation and collaboration is not just a good life skill, but also conducive to just better learning outcomes day to day, and of course, over the long run. So I'm very proud of our teachers, of our staff, Ms. Jolana, Brianna, obviously Ms. Kay, Ms. Inda, people who have a behind the scenes but very influential part of these outcomes. And obviously Miss Patty, who is our parent liaison, who oftentimes is in close communication with some of our families as they sometimes reckon with and grapple with some challenges on the home front. So in any event, this is obviously a big deal for us because it has a wonderful carryover effect into learning. Next item. And just in terms of upcoming events, it feels like before we know it, the end of the calendar year will be upon us. I don't know how we got there, but it's the way it goes. So I represented that the 17th was the carnival. Again, thank you to the PFO for that. We have our Q1 assemblies starting next week. We have our parent conference week, the 3rd through the 7th. We have a special Dia de los Muertos celebration on Saturday, November 8th. That's a collaboration between our after-school program and our PFO. It'll be a movie night / celebration. And so we're trying to really, it's November, it's a little later, but we wanted to have something that we've been doing some activities through the after-school program and felt that this could be a good community gathering. So thank you to Ms. Hokamp for that. And then November 10th is going to be, there is no school for students, but certificated staff will have a professional development day as well. So with that, I'll go ahead and close out my report and open up for any questions or comments from the board.
I love the Dia de los Muertos event. I would love for it to be a little bit closer to either November 1st or 2nd, but November 8th works just fine. So is the plan to have altars or what is the plan?
We're trying to work that through because of our events and assemblies and such. We're trying to just, again, facilities, we just don't have it all of at our disposal. So that's been done in the past, but it was done more just earlier. And our awards assemblies put a bit of a challenge on that because we were using the stage for that. So we may still find enough time for that, and I believe we will, but that's been our destination. And then we're looking at a few community partners, if you will, to be able to come in and maybe put on some performances, things of that nature, just to make it come together.
Yeah, I think what would be nice, and you might already be planning on doing this, is for the students to know what Dia de los Muertos represents and the story behind it. I mean, I think it's a great tradition that they should be aware of. So it's not Halloween, it's something different.
I guess I'll just give a kudos and a thumbs up to everyone who was doing the Career Expo. It was well organized. As somebody who came to it, there was a lot of communication ahead of time. I knew where to go. I knew what to bring. When I was at the event, then they had, lunch already provided for everybody while they were there setting up. So it was just very well organized and put together. Even the organization of how certain grades and certain classes were coming at different times. And so I think, if it's only the second year that was put on, I think that just shows, how much thought and dedication was put into planning the event. And I just wanted to let you know it showed, and the kids were engaged and it was fun. So, and I think I was next to community members, like you were saying, where they do not have children at Mesa, but they know a teacher that's here. They know a community member that's here. They're friends with somebody who goes here. And so they were here. And I thought that was fabulous.
Thank you. And just that planning, again, Ms. Hokamp, Ms. Inda in particular, but so many of the people, our front office, our facilities, right? It's always a team effort, but it was weeks of them just coordinating and us talking through the minutia and the details that I'm glad came across to you as a presenter and obviously as a parent and trustee. That's important to us that's how our guests are received. And our PFO sponsored the lunch and helped us out with those refreshments. So again, a complete collaborative effort, but some people that obviously took the lead on that. And I'm glad that it came across to you that way. And we're hoping to just continue to build off of those experiences for the future.
I wanted to talk about a couple of things. Number one, in your report where you talked about the library. And I want to give kudos to Ms. Litz for providing and putting the library together, the catalog of books that are there. She spent hours and hours over the past several years to glean out the old stuff, bring in new stuff, things that would be there. The fact that last year we had 1,300 books that went out, and this year we had 1,800 books that went out is a huge thing, especially in this digital world, that it's so good to hear that students are checking books out and being involved in a tactile analog presentation of words versus just getting it all digitally. I think that is fabulous because they need that, especially in the younger grades from third down to kindergarten or TK. That's a very important piece, of their education. They need to have that kind of input and stimulus. So kudos to her for doing a great job and you giving her the latitude to be able to come in and provide the books that are necessary. That's one. Two, I want to talk a little bit about the carnival this last Friday. Thought it was well attended. I worked in the same spot where I've worked for the past several years, but I think everybody had a fun time. I'm curious though, because they moved the location. I didn't get to see the volume of people. I just saw the line and how it settled down. I'd be curious to know what the numbers were, because they have to know about how many tickets that they've sold as far as getting in, or see the volume of people, is it staying pretty much the same, or is it growing any at all? I'm kind of curious. It's just curiosity.
Yeah, I'll try to find some figures
Yeah.
to share. I can tell you anecdotally, the PFO was very pleased, more than pleased at the turnout. And obviously, all of this is intended to be a fundraiser, as we
Right.
know. I can tell you personally, again, anecdotally, just by cars in the parking lot, that it was a very, very well attended event for us. Just where we were and how we were able to navigate, we put a lot of thought into that. And the anecdotal piece is there, but I'll
Right.
try to find some more
Yeah.
numbers that might bolster that and validate it.
Well, and
So,
I can tell you, so I was going to wait for Carnival for next time when we present it, but the silent auction brought in about $5,000.
right.
So I thought that was great. That was much better than it had been in recent years past. And what I truly loved about this year's auction was that every single grade had a teacher experience that could be bid on, by the community. And I can't express enough gratitude for not only teachers, support staff, yard supervisors. I mean, the engagement of the staff, even beyond teachers, was amazing. And it's because of that, the teacher items alone brought in over $1,000. And so I just want to express complete gratitude to all the staff that participated in the auction and the ones I saw here personally that attended. All of that engagement is so critical and vital to this community that we're building. And so I just want to give, a huge shout out and thanks to the staff as well.
One final point on that, because it's a collaboration, the number of parent volunteers in our booths, that's obviously parents stepping up, family members stepping up, but also young people who are, most of them Mesa alum,
Alumni. Yeah.
who came and, I made this comment to, because we had a meeting this morning. It's always great to see the kids, but one point of distinction is they weren't only around, they were actually in service. And I think that's the part that kind of took it to the next level for me, because I think that kind of modeling and being there for their younger peers is huge. And I think the service component is something that we've been really focused on for a number of years here at Mesa. And I'm glad to see that it continues and that they're giving back to us and family members as well, because they were the ones operating the booths, taking time. And when it was their turn, they were showing up, which is great. And so all those things are really, as I like to tell parents, no contribution is too small. And I really saw it come together in a really great way with this carnival. So anyway, thank you and try to get some more data points. But thank you, Mrs. Dryden, for sharing that piece of information. I wasn't aware of that.
Well, along those lines, my son, I wasn't going to mention anything about this, but he saw an opportunity to serve at one of the booths. There was a gap. And so he just stepped in. And that was fun to hear about and to see that he's feeling comfortable that he can just interact with the kids that were coming and the younger Mesa Tigers that are here. Just brought a lot of joy to his heart. It wasn't for an extended period of time, but there was a need, and so he just jumped in, and so that was a fun thing. And the silent auction was phenomenal, and I thought of, especially things that I need to be involved in. I just wish, I'm pretty dim-witted, saying this is what I should have offered in as far as silent auction is concerned, and especially in light of what's coming up with yeah, that's right. Especially in line with the Dia de los Muertos, it just goes hand in hand with what I'd like to do. Anyway, thank you.
Thank you all.
Item next, 9, board members' reports and communications. If I could begin, just to announce on the record that Ventura County Office of Education, or otherwise VCOE, has reviewed the 2025 Local Control Accountability Plan, or LCAP, and the adopted budget report for the district, and it's in compliance with Ed Code 42127 and 52070. In addition, VCOE received or reviewed the Mesa Union School District unaudited actuals and for the fiscal year 2024-2025, and report to the Superintendent of Public Instruction according to the Ed Code 42100. All right, with that, if there's any other board members, correspondence, reports, communications, and interests and concerns. We'll start down at the end. Jamie, do you have anything?
I'll
Just try.
just start, because I know this came up in a conversation, but just planning, to see if we're doing the Christmas parade. And I hear that we're on a search for a truck potentially, or a tractor or something to help us out, which I just think again speaks to community engagement and involvement. So I just haven't heard anything recently about it, but it's just putting it out there. Because if we are doing it, I think something like that where we're continuing to bring in community would be something that I would hope we're considering.
And yes, the plan is to continue with that. I don't have any details on anything beyond that, but our participation as a school, yes, that would be very important.
I'm looking for a truck.
Mrs. Romero, do you have anything?
I am very thrilled that there is going to be a state middle school mock trial championship, which I am super excited for. And there's a few counties participating, about 3 counties that we know of so far. But before that, we're going to have a tournament scrimmage here at Mesa Union on a Saturday, and we have 2 teams from San Luis Obispo driving from San Luis Obispo to Mesa Union, being here for 5-6 hours, and then driving back to San Luis Obispo. So I'm excited to host them. And so it's going to be like a tournament scrimmage for the whole day. I think it'll be a great experience for their students, our students, and the teams that do participate in that scrimmage. It'll be a first time, so we hope that it goes well. And I just want to thank Dr. Ramirez for his support, and we look forward to that.
When was that?
That is Saturday, January 24th.
Oh, yeah.
I think that's it for my part.
You have anything?
No, I just want to say thank you to all of the parents and the teachers and everybody who puts all the events together here at the school and keeps the Mesa tradition continuing. I think it's great to see all the community come together, and it's just a wonderful thing to see it continue.
I'm going to bring up one thing that kind of stunned me, and it has to do with these pictures that are hanging on the wall back here. That our students actually look at those. I don't know if you guys are aware of that. I came on the first day and I went to every class, and I can't tell you how many people recognized me because of my picture here. When I was at Carnival this past Friday night and talked to somebody, no, it was here. It was, you're the guy on the wall, I was stunned about how observant the students are that were on the board. I thought we were just like in the background. We meet at night, faceless people. I know that they see you guys on a regular basis because you have kids here, but I haven't really been on campus for a long time because my kids are gone. That just stunned me that they put 2 and 2 together. It just floored me. Something that I did not expect. And so it's a little thing, but I think it's a big thing for the kids. So
Make the connection and recognize you.
yeah, I was, like I said, I was stunned. Okay, any other further reports, communications, or interests and concerns? Okay, hearing none, we'll move on to where we at? C, is that C? I messed up my papers here. I think I've got this right. Are we in 10 now? There we go. Thank you. Consent agenda. Can I get a motion for the consent agenda for tonight?
I'll make a motion.
I'll second it.
Do we need to make an adjustment? Okay, not to the consent, to the first, oh, the one that's already been adopted. Anyway, any discussion on the consent agenda items? Hearing none, all those in favor of accepting the consent agenda as it's presented, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. That motion carries 401 in favor. Item 11, information.
So can I make a motion that we postpone discussing item 11A until the November meeting, so we can have a little bit more time to review the materials?
So just to table that?
Yes, to postpone, to table it until the
To
November
table it
meeting.
till next.
The CASP testing review.
So item 11A, if we can, it's been moved. Does it require a second and a vote? I think it's if somebody moves to table it. Is there a second to table it? Let's start there. It's moved and seconded to table it, and I think that's all that's required. It's been tabled until next meeting. Okay. Item 12 is action items. Consideration of adoption of resolution 25-26-03 authorizing emergency contracting for the completion of the water delivery improvements at Mason Union School District pursuant to Uniform Public Construction Cost Accounting Act. Can I get a motion?
I so move.
Can I get a second?
Second it.
Any discussion?
Only that we're just having an exploratory discussion about the water delivery system that was in the superintendent's report. And that is something that we'd like the board to support in order to look into its feasibility and viability as a project.
Okay. Any questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting resolution 25-26-03 say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. That motion carries 401 in favor. Item B, consideration of adoption of resolution 25-26-04 in recognition of National Red Ribbon Week. Can I get a motion?
So move.
In a second?
Second it.
Any discussion?
Just that the board received in the packet an overview of the Spirit Days throughout the week, and every day has a different theme. And we're excited. It's just always a week of good celebration and good spirit, and all really intended to have kids understand how to live a healthy lifestyle.
Anything else? Hearing none, all those in favor of adopting resolution 25-26-04, the recognition of National Red Ribbon Week, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. That motion carries 401 in favor. Item C, consideration of acceptance of the receipt of the Golden Valley Charter School annual programmatic audit for the year 2024-2025. Can I get a motion?
I move to accept the Golden Valley Charter School annual programmatic audit.
And a second?
Second the motion.
Any discussion?
I only wanted to represent that we had a Golden Valley board meeting yesterday afternoon, where the programmatic audit was also reviewed. And I really have to send my my regards to that staff and to the executive director, Mrs. Deanna Downs, because they've done a lot to try to build community within a model that by definition is about a homeschool option. And with that said, they've created hubs, they've made their office available, they're looking to bring community together elsewhere, and particularly focusing on the high school experience, because it is a different and a more traditional experience. So they have a counselor that they've hired on that is doing great work for them. And I think it's a good step forward in evolution of their program to have to see they come together this way.
Thank you for that. Anything? Hearing none, all those in favor of accepting the receipt of the Golden Valley Charter School annual programmatic audit for the year 2024-2025, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay. That motion carries 401 in favor. Item D, consideration of the acceptance of the quarterly report for the Williams Uniform Complaints for the quarter ending September 30th, 2025.
So move.
I'll second.
Discussion.
No complaint.
See, there's no discussion. There's always no complaints. Thank you for that. And that means that we're providing that which we need to be providing. And so, and without, I doubt that there's anything further. All those in favor of accepting the quarterly report for the Williams Uniform Complaints for the quarter ending September 30th, 2025, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. That motion carries 401 in favor. Item E, consideration of approval of the MOU with Ventura County Behavioral Health Department for the 25-26 school year. Can I get a motion?
Make a motion?
A second?
I'll second.
Discussion.
Just, I wanted to represent that what this contract has been brought forward to the board now multiple years. Within it is a fee schedule that is intended to represent both the fee for the types of services that we would contract with Ventura County Behavioral Health, as well as what those costs would be for a typical student on an annual basis, and how those fees break down depending upon which service is accessed. So these services are not widespread. These services are very acute and intensive services designed to support students that fit the criteria. And there's a long process that is undertaken, typically, but not exclusively, associated with special education. And it is intended to, it's what the board may have heard in prior years as wraparound services, where there is a communication that goes and services that go from school to home and back, keeping all of the parties involved in the know around a shared sense of goals and services. So I just wanted to provide that bit of context to the board as questions come up or decisions are made.
That was helpful. I was going to ask a question about that. Another question I had was understanding the timing, because we did a lot of MOUs at the beginning of the year for types of services. And so I wasn't sure if this is just being brought up now because there's a potential student that is now needing this service, or if it was because we also were looking at hiring different positions at the time. So just a clarity on timeline.
No, it was a little late arriving, to be quite frank about it. Typically, there's outreach from Ventura County Behavioral Health to us, and it just hadn't made its way into a particular a board agenda. But it is part of our annual protocol for contracts like this. And I think what I've been interested in doing is bringing those forward facing from spring into the following school year. And I just haven't quite gotten there on every MOU.
Okay. Any other questions? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the MOU with the Ventura County Behavioral Health Department for the school year 2025-2026, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed, say nay. That motion carries 401 in favor. Item F, consideration of approval of the amendment number 1 of the purchase order of the Ride Mobility LLC. Can I get a motion?
So move.
And a second?
One second.
Discussion.
If I may, Mr.
Sure.
Sullivan, I wanted to just provide some context. One is that this would be for the purchase of the second EV vehicle, which we have been looking to secure now for an extended period of time. It is a vehicle, initially, the vehicle was slated to be an ADA accessible vehicle. Unfortunately, we ran into some production delays due to outside factors. And in my conversations with BYD and in the spirit of closing out this particular grant, some negotiation came into play. And so we'll be taking this vehicle with some add-ons that I think are appropriate and provide us the opportunity to move forward, secure the vehicle, and at the same time do so at or below the grant amount. So as the board can imagine, costs of all products are escalating. And in this instance, the $375 figure would cover the cost of the second vehicle. Now, this particular amendment doesn't spell it out, doesn't itemize it by vehicle, but since the other vehicle has already been secured and is on the road, we've already paid for that vehicle. This would be for the second vehicle, and it would fit under the grant amount.
Great. Any other discussion?
Just a quick question. So, because it has a price after incentive, so are you saying that we've already paid that price? Or
We
is this the
paid a
additional?
portion of that. We've already utilized the prior grant, the 375, and there was some additional costs above and beyond that. But in this instance, the entirety of the cost will be absorbed by the grant, including the add-ons that are delineated in the amendment, including, for example, a camera system, a few other add-on features, which we would have had to secure after the fact anyway, but they were included as part of our negotiations.
Fantastic. Any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of approving the amendment number 1 of the purchase order with Ride Mobility LLC, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. That motion carries 401 in favor. Field trip request, item G. Consideration and approval of the TKK field trip to the pumpkin patch. Can I get a motion?
So moved.
And a second?
Second.
Any discussion? Where's the pumpkin patch?
Yeah, it was
Can you open the,
McGrath.
McGrath.
That's McGrath. So I think it's in that. That intern.
Mhm.
So. Anyway, that's always an exciting time. Pardon me?
Yes, it is. It
Yeah.
is funded. It's one of the field trips that is funded by our PFO.
It's a massive, it's there. I remember going, I'm just going to opine a little bit here, so forgive me. In my earlier days, I've gone on so many kindergarten trips. And what an exciting time for these kids. Anyway. All right, all those in favor of approving the TKK kindergarten field trip to the pumpkin patch, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. That motion carries 401 in favor. Consideration, item H is consideration of the approval of the first grade field trip to the Santa Paula Art Museum. Can I get a motion?
Make a motion.
In a second?
Second.
And any discussion on this one?
Just one of those, I want to say this is the second year that we've gone to the art museum. And it was reported as being just a really a really great historical building just in its own right, and then a lot of really local history, specific to Santa Paula, but of course, specific to the county, dating back to its founding. And so, anyway, just a great opportunity, and they tend to just kind of gather right around the vicinity as well and kind of see the sites. But from what I've heard from first grade teacher Svomer was that the docents and the ones the employees there are just very helpful and make it really a rich experience for the kids.
Right. I enjoy these all field trips because education is more than just in a classroom. And so, and every grade level seems to do something very good. And this is just one of those. All right. Anything further? I'm hearing none. All those in favor of approving the first grade field trip to the Santa Paula Art Museum, say aye. Aye. Any opposed, say nay. That motion carries 401 in favor. Items for future consideration is going to be the board area focus, the first interim report, and the CASP report that needs to be put on there. C. Right. Our next board meeting will be November the 19th. And then we'll have a board meeting on December 17th, and that'll be the reorganization meeting. And if there's nothing else, then we'll adjourn this meeting at 8:26.